Good day, my dear fanatics. Looks like we have a new patch already live. After PTR being quite short, I must say. I don't think we've tested the patch quite enough, but looks like the real test will be on the live version of the game. The newest change that has been added to the live version is definitely the ghost supply being down to 2 from 3, and it being a light tank, which I think is going to be the most impactful in TVZ. It will be somewhat impactful in TVP as well, where the adepts were... Well, we're not going to be using adepts against Ghost, I suppose, but adepts are going to get additional damage, as well as the Phoenixes or the Colossus, for example. And I think the Colossus change is by far the most important one. I think, what a better way to test the patch than play a couple of ladder games here. We're going to play versus Spirit, by the way. Wait, it's playing Protoss. I've been kind of rushing him all this time. And I want to test out the energy recharge ability, because it's only, you know, 50 energy every 45 seconds right now. And I have this strategy that I've been using for a long time with the previous energy overcharge, and I want to see how impactful the strategy is going to be, or how impacted it's going to be by the nerfs. So let's try to figure it out. Let's get this. Okay, he's surprisingly high on the MMR. I think on the loading screen I saw he's already at 6.2k MMR. That's quite crazy. Well done, Mr. Spirit. Maybe he's fully switching to Protoss now. Possible. I think with the changes, the proxy robo in PvP is going to become a big threat. It already is. It already is a very, very strong strategy. Probably the hardest strategy to hold at all levels of the game, I think. And now the energy recharge being only 50 energy, which means less force fields, less scouting, less Oracle energy as well, possibly. I think the proxy robo is going to become a big... Wait, what is this? Why is he getting a Nexus so quickly? Okay, we're just gonna go Stargate then. Okay, looks like we're not going to be attacked, so we kind of get away with the one gate expand situation here. That's pretty nice for us. We'll start with a Stargate, which will make the Oracle a bit weaker in the harassment, right? We're gonna have less energy. I could have blocked his Nexus from happening. That's not very usual what the Protosses are doing here. I also had a game the other time. I think that was yesterday when the patch went live to NA, where I was actually storming the siege tanks, and the storm is dealing 140 damage now instead of 80, but it takes damage. It deals damage over 6 seconds instead of 3 seconds. So it is, I would say, the radius is also a little bit larger, where I think the storm doesn't feel any weaker whatsoever. Like, I don't think it feels weak at all. I think we didn't want to buff the storm as well. But I'm looking forward to see how people are going to be playing against Storm and using this Storm now, because it lasts actually quite long time, I must say. It is quite a noticeable change. The damage change doesn't feel that much impactful. It's less DPS overall, but the damage is big on like static units like Lurkers or Siege Tanks, like I mentioned. It's going to be quite impactful. Getting the Twilight Council. Okay. Let's try to focus a bit on this game. I don't want to lose the Spirit Protoss, that's for sure. Let's try to find something here.
Our window is short.
I should have cancelled the adept. That's a mistake. That's a mistake and a half. Okay. Alright. I don't think I've gotten what I wanted to have. I want to have 2 oracles though. Maybe with the double oracle it's gonna do something. With quad gateways now though. To stay here. Okay, I don't have that much energy for... Can I save this? Maybe I can save this? It's gonna be close. Okay, 3 HP. Calculated, if you ask me. Just try to find some damage now, the Oracle. Never mind. Never mind. He went back with the Stalkers. Oh wait, no, what? He's still here. Okay. Third base. Oh my goodness! 6 HP! Woo. Okay, we get away with murder here. That's for sure. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's warp in some units. I am playing with like no units. Oh my god, he almost intercepted me here as well. I have almost no units, but it's all because he had to save his units to deal with the oracles. Now, I have much less energy for these oracles to cast stasis traps as well. Very noticeable already, I must say. Only 4 stalkers, that's not a lot. Let's get energy overcharge on this one. Okay, get this.
Let us begin.
Now, I think I need to work on a bit more stalkers. I need to get +1 started as well, that would be nice. I think I can possibly walk out with my stalkers as soon as I have blink, but I don't have just now. It's a bit of an issue for me. Okay, I like this. I like what he's doing here. You know why he's warping, hallucinating probes like this? Is to trigger the stasis traps that would be along the way. Luckily for me, I didn't have them in the position where the probes crossed paths, but that was a very good idea to try to deactivate the stasis traps. The stasis traps also last much shorter in this path because they went down from 170 seconds to just 90 seconds on the trap, which is a significant nerf, but I think they're very the right nerf, I would say, because they really lasted for the longest time. Okay, well, we have blink. Let's try to walk around stuff. See if we can find any damage. Let's get charge. Gonna get more stasis traps here. And a couple of gateways added. Can I like cancel a 4 for something here? Maybe more gateways before I do something here? No 4. Maybe I can start the 4th? I'm not sure. Do I have enough? I don't have enough energy here. Okay. Okay. He's gonna blink forward. No, he's not. Oh, what? I had the wrong oracle at the front. Mistake. I should be getting some. He's gonna walk into a stasis trap, isn't he? Oh, the stasis traps are happening again. It's gonna happen again. I can blink on top of this, maybe? Can I? I can't. Okay. Recall. Get the probe. I don't want him to get the 4th. Nice. Let's go back. He might have a proxy pylon or a warpism. I think that's the proxy pylon here, honestly. Try to find it. Another stasis. He found it. He wasted the recall. Wait, I have no pylons. And he's slightly supply blocked here. Slightly supply blocked. I think he has a significant army here, honestly. I'm a supply block at the very wrong time here. Use the energy recharge, get some stasis traps. He's gonna try to deactivate the traps. Yeah, maybe I can counterattack the zealots. Okay, I have +1 advantage over. I have to cancel this base. No way I'm keeping it alive. I have charge on the way. Okay, just finished. Okay, big attack here. We have a big counterattack on him, by the way. Happening right now, which is quite nice. Very good. Follow these probes, maybe. Can I attack this? Oh, I think he went back. Can I kill some probes? Probably not. Okay, yeah, we're not finding much damage here. There's no recoil, right? We have he has +1 now. Okay. Just falling back now. Let's energy overcharge this. Open more stalkers. Maybe get this. I'd like to attack his 4th now. With a stasis trap, if possible. Canceling the 4th was a bit annoying for me, I must say. Let's try to maybe attack from this side. Attack the zealots at the 4th. I have 2 stasis traps possible. Lots of harassment here. No supply block. Oh, the oracle. This is not good. This is not good. Look at this. There's a stasis trap. Yeah, we're killing some of this. It's becoming quite an exciting game, I must say. Here. To just grab everything and go with the +2 advantage that I'm gonna have. This. Okay. 4. Probably warping everything here, and we should be golden here. Oh, I hope he doesn't see the warping. He's gonna see it. Okay, the warping just goes off. I think that's a loss for him. I think that has to be a loss. Ooh, that was very expensive. I have to save my base though. Just warping here. Need to warping defensively now. But I think I have the advantage of the army. Warping here, warping here. Fight. Look here. Blink. Okay. Transfer the probes. Alright. I think we got it. That was a bad blink for him. Unfortunate and unlucky for him. But he played a good game. GG. Woo! Let's go. Alright. I definitely 100% felt the impact of less energy overcharge in this game. Otherwise, I would have had so many more stasis traps that would have lasted longer. I would have found probably more damage with the oracles around the time that he would be taking the third base, because I would have more energy for putting down the stasis trap. Maybe I could have chopped on a stalker here and there. Definitely felt the impact of the energy overcharge. Not many more changes that we could have seen other than the stasis trap being a little bit shorter. But okay. I wonder that maybe, just maybe in PvP, with the way that the Storm works right now, maybe Storm can find its way into the meta. I wonder. I'm too scared to do it right now because we're just trying to figure out the build orders. But if you're going to be surviving long enough, is Storm going to be better than maybe going into the disruptors? I wonder. Maybe I'll try that someday, but we'll see. GG. I couldn't find a non-Protoss opponent, so I decided to just show you a couple of replays that I have played from the new patch on the North American server. The moment it went live on the North American server, I've played a couple of games versus Terrans and a couple of games versus Zerg, and just wanted to show you some of that, because in this game I'll be using the new Storm, and we will be able to see kind of the power of it as well, and just to have a little bit of a conversation about how the patch is going to be impacting the matchup. I think in PvT, with the longer Storm, I think it will take some time for the Terrans to adjust to how to micro against the Storm, because a lot of the time Terrans will, you know, like scatter around from the Storm, and then they'll just go right back in, right around the time that the Storm is going to be finishing, right? That's like around the 3rd second. But now that the Storm is actually going for 6 seconds, it's going to be much harder to set up the engagements for the Terran on top of a round, for example, because you'll be able to buy time a bit more with the Storms, because the damage is quite significant. You will see it in the game anyway. I decided to go for the Sentry Scout just to see how much scouting I can actually get done with the new energy recharge. And usually in the previous episode, in the previous patch I should say, you could almost constantly scout with the hallucination by using just the energy overcharge once. Now in this game I had to use the energy recharge twice on the sentry, which is already 100 energy, which means that there's less chrono boost on a gateway unit, or on an upgrade like Blink or a robotics facility later on, or just on the probes to increase my economy. So if you want to consistently scout, you have to choose between your economy or an actual scout, which I think is a good and healthy change for the game, because I think no race should have the free scout option. And hallucination is pretty much almost as free as it gets, because we also nerfed the cost of the hallucination a long time ago, because it used to cost 100 energy instead of 75. I think I'll be going for a Blinkstalker opening here, playing versus somewhat of a standard opening from the Terran, like a Medivac drop at the same time, and like a Hellion run by, could be a Widowmine drop. So I decided to wall off the front to be extremely safe, because I didn't see the amount of Hellions that he had, but I thought this is a good idea to wall off the front when I didn't see a Widowmine and I saw that the Marines have left his base. I'll be taking a 3rd base shortly, just saturating my gases, making sure I don't lose anything, as he was trying to attack me on both sides again, this time with the just Marines at the front, but that's not gonna work. I had just enough Stalkers at the both fronts, and while he was trying to do the exact same harassment just a moment ago, just swapped places from Hellions to the Medivac, I'm able to shut down the aggression quite easily. So I take my 3rd base quite safely. So now I wanted to test out the Storm, right? So I go basically almost immediately to the Temple Archives after I am perfectly safe, because I know there's no harassment that the Terran can do at this time after what he did after the Hellions and the Marines is going to be threatening to me. So I safely can tech up to the Temple Archives and the so desired new Storm, one would say. I also use the hallucination to scout what the Terran is doing in the meantime. If this is going to be a stimless push, maybe just a siege tank push or whatever. I see triple racks, factory, starport, a siege tank here. I see no starport units, which kind of worried me, because I know there's one Medivac out there, but I thought maybe there's not going to be any starport unit harassing, or maybe there's going to be one Liberator, or maybe a Raven. But based on the timing that I saw on the starport, maybe there's not going to be any harassment happening. But I'll keep my eyes on that possibility. Going for Storm immediately, making more probes. Now energy recharging the Templar, very important. Here comes the Medivac that was trying to harass me the other time. Not worked. But yeah, the energy recharge on the Templars is a significant change. I can, like, just in the general nerf to the energy recharge is very, very noticeable for the Protoss. You no longer have almost infinity energy. Just transferring that 50 energy from the Nexus towards the unit or the building is very noticeable and a significant nerf for sure. In the right direction once again. He comes in with the Hellions. I have Stalkers in position. I also intercept the Medivac on the other side of the map. Luckily for me, can I get it? I can get it just in time. I try to chase these Hellions. Okay, maybe I can surround it with the Stalker at the top side. Maybe deal more damage. I'm trying to chase these Hellions to the left side of the map. While warping some stuff here. Going for a maybe Storm Drop. I would just warp in the Zealots. But oh my god, the Hellions are actually running around me. Completely past me. And I just used the warping for the Zealots. I don't want to show the Zealot card. Or the Zealots are not going to do that much in here. They're not going to arrive to defend these Hellions. I lose pretty much all of my probes at the third base. Good move here by the Terran, for sure. Definitely evens out the game a bit. After not taking any damage to his harassment before that. I'm trying to go for the Storm Drop now on the SCVs. This is going to be the very first time I'm going to be seeing the new Storm. Let's see if I can go here. Okay, Storm Drop. The second one not really works. But I kill maybe a unit or something here. I could hear the sound. Look at this. I could still hear the sound of Marines dying here. So I cast the Storm long time ago. I went back to my base. I did something. I picked up the High Templars, went into his natural. And all of this time the Storm was still persisting for these couple of seconds, right? So he went back into it, not knowing how long it actually lasts. I'm trying to go on the Storm on top of the SCVs. I have just enough energy for that, but he's running away from the Storms. Can I do it in this middle line, maybe? Let's see. Couple of Storms. Not that much damage here, unfortunately. But the Storm lasts longer, which means that he cannot come back to the middle line with these SCVs immediately, because he has to respect the duration of the Storm now. Okay, how many Storms do I have? Just a couple. But he's not set up just yet. He's going to be trying to siege up here. And take a look at this. The Storm is going to be going on top of the siege tanks here. From the high ground, just barely. I had just barely enough range for this Storm to deal some damage to this side. But take a look at the siege tanks, man. They're taking so much damage. So Storm on a static units like siege tanks and lurkers is incredibly powerful. Because now you need only 2 Storms to kill these units. Take a look at this again. All 3 siege tanks die in the span of 2 Storms. More Storms happening. Now look how easy it is to control the single ramp as well. The Storm lasts for a long time. I have more Storms coming. The Storm definitely has to be respected. Another couple of Storms. It lasts for such a long time. I'm trying not to rush this engagement purely to try to feel out the power of the Storm. I wanted to make him feel a bit more overconfident, so he's gonna chase into me, so he's gonna walk into the Storm. I now have a lot of money in here, so I should be just perfectly fine, while I also dealt a lot of damage to his economy with the counter Storm Drop just before his push. Trying to get another Storm on the ramp. Now this is a completely failed Storm, but he's forced to come back into this engagement, right? And he actually takes more damage from that. Now with the just additional warpins, I have no problem dealing with that. There's also a counterattack happening. NGG gets called and I win this game. I think the most important part about this defense was that getting the double Storm on top of the double siege tank siege up twice in a row, right? I got the triple siege tank kill from just 2 Storms, while also dealing damage with the counter Storm Drop. There was no third base or anything. It was basically a 2-base all-in here for my opponent, and I was able to defend that quite nicely. Obviously, this was not the strongest Terran out there. This was just some kind of North American Terran player at around, I think, 5.5k MMR. But at least in this game, I was able to see the strength of a Storm in defending the Terran pushes against siege tanks, where in the past you would need to use 3 Storms to kill a siege tank. In this iteration of the game, you can use only 2 Storms, which you can spare 2 Storms to kill the siege tanks. I think that's quite a significant change, and it will technically help the Protoss players to defend these kind of pushes. However, Terrans will also learn that the siege tanks are actually going to be endangered by the Storm themselves, so they'll have to position the siege tanks a bit more carefully. Or the Widow Mines, actually, they're gonna die to a single Storm as well, because in the past, the Storm dealt 80 damage, and Widow Mine is at 90 health, so you would need 2 Storms before. Now you only need 1 Storm to deal with the Widow Mine, so they would have to unburrow that as well. Now, since we have the PvT done, I wanted to show you a couple of moments from the PvZ that I have played and how Microbial Shroud was effective and ineffective at the same time. Now looking at the PvZ, by the way, just look at the new animation of the mothership being produced. I think it looks amazing, and it actually does show like the power of a single unit being built. I love this animation, and I think it just looks quite cool. In the past, I think there was just like a very bright light coming out down on the Nexus, but now you can see the mothership kind of like the silhouette coming out of the Nexus. And as it spawns, it kind of goes up and down. I don't know if it's meant to be like that, but I think it just looks kind of cool. Now in this PvZ, not much has really happened. We were kind of just both building up, but I wanted to show a couple of interactions here with the Storm, and how long it lasts and how impactful it can be. But the Baneys can still easily run through the Storm, and they can deal quite a lot of damage. They also run into the middle lines. They are still a threat, and you can feel that they have the plus 5 HP, honestly. I thought I'm not going to be noticing that change that much, because I think it's mostly affecting TvZ. But even in just this one single game, I could see the Baneling surviving quite a bit longer in the fights. There's going to be another engagement somewhere around here, where you will be able to see the everlasting Psionic Storm in the engagement as well. As we can see, the 2 storms on the left side, 2 storms on the right side, and they're basically lasting throughout the entire time. So it's hard for the Zerg to walk back into the storms. And I think the Protoss players really have to respect the storm damage as well. I'm not used to it as well just now, but I think if you're going to be storming to the front, you cannot really walk into that, because it does actually leave some kind of damage on your units. In the past, you could kind of like ignore the storm damage. Now, not so much. Now, also another engagement here with the Ultralisk here. Wait, what are the what are the Ultralisks doing? Hello? What is this? Why are they sliding like this? I haven't seen this one before. Oh, that's so funny. But look at this, the storm is actually still doing a lot of damage at the end of it. But look at them Ultralisks go! The figure skaters Ultralisks. That's kind of funny to me. However, there was no Microbial Shroud in that engagement. Now for the final engagement of the game, there is going to be Microbial Shroud included, and it will look scary for a moment, but my army is already designed to kill the Ultralisks, right? I have like what? I have 9 Immortals, 6 Archons, 6 Tempest, and lots of Storm as well. So my army should be capable of beating the Ultralisk army. Here comes the sliding figure skater Immortals, but the Storm is actually so good in these engagements, because take a look how his units at the back are dying, right? Throughout the Storm. There's a Microbial Shroud on top of the Ultralisks. The Ultralisks are not dying immediately, but I have to kite away from this army pretty much throughout the half of the map in here, right? From here to here, I have to kite. In the past, if I would be fighting with this engagement, there is no way I would even be considering kiting that much, because I would be crushing these just a few immortal Ultralisks here against this many Immortals with +3 attack. It would be just a clear, easy A move. Now with the Microbial Shroud, the Immortals, the Ultralisks last much longer. However, it was still a possible engagement to take because of the kiting ability. I wasn't locked down by the Fungos. Half of his army died to the Storm in here. And now let me show you how the engagement is going to look like, where the Microbial Shroud actually makes a huge difference, and how difficult it is to deal with the Ultralisk army. And this is my game versus the Korean player Shin, who has used the reduced Spire build time by 5 seconds and the cheaper Spire as well, and completely surprised me by just the faster Mutalisk than I was expecting. I had absolutely nothing prepared for them. I lost a lot of my economy and just general game in here because of this Mutalisk. It was just an investment of a couple of Mutalisks. I believe that was 6 or 7 Mutalisks that almost cleared up my entire 2 middle lines. I had no anti-air whatsoever, and that cost me a lot of trouble. So you can surprise a Protoss player with the faster Spire. After taking a lot of damage from the Mutalisk, Shin was going to basically like all in me, tried to surround me from all sides with the Ling, Bane, Ravager, Roach, and I had to do some miracle hold in here. There we go. He's going to be attacking me, trying to trigger some of the stasis traps, and then the full engagement is going to happen. Couple of good stasis traps, but nice splits from the storms as well from my opponent. Here comes the swarm, trying to storm, but the stasis traps are really saving me here. Good storms on all sides, and I hold for the first time. But shortly after comes the second wave of the engagements that I'm desperately trying to survive on the 4 bases, while Shin is taking the entire map. Going from both sides as well. There's a huge swarm. I'm trying to position my units to the best of my abilities. Archers in the middle line, Stalkers in the front to blink away. There's just so much Zerg. They're surviving quite a long time. Even though I have my entire army, my Nexus still dies. But the storms are lasting for a long time, and he has to eventually disengage. Now Shin has eventually tagged up to the Ultralisks, and yeah, it is looking kind of scary. I have a pretty good army against Ultralisk, like, right? I have Archons, a couple of Immortals, but lots of Storm, which Storm is usually not very good versus the Ultralisks. But look how little damage I'm doing with the Archons and the Immortals inside of the Microbial Shroud. Sure, Storms are actually doing quite a lot of damage in here, but even having a couple of Immortals outside of the Microbial Shroud would have been enough to deal with this half HP Ultralisks, but because he's fighting inside of the Microbial Shroud, I have nowhere to go. He's just rolling in with the Banelings, kind of ignoring the Storms that I have. The Ultras are not even taking damage against the Archons, and I lose my entire economy, pretty much, in that small engagement. Despite having a decent, I would say, position to fight, but obviously he does have the overwhelming number. He's winning the game, so he can take these kind of trades. I think it was funny to see the Ultralisk and the Ultralisk surviving long enough inside of the Microbial Shroud, for example, versus these Archons. Take a look at this. There's 4 Archons with +3, by the way, fighting versus red HP Ultralisk, and I'm not winning that fight, guys. I have to storm and run outside of the Microbial Shroud. That's when I actually win the fight. Now, I was able to survive to build myself up to around 8 Immortals, and now in the previous patch, with this many Immortals and this many Archons, Ultralisk would just absolutely evaporate. They would stand no chance whatsoever. But Shin smartly uses the Microbial Shroud with the first few Ultras, and they last quite a long time. I have to keep kiting away from it, as he's attacking my left side of the army with the rest of his Ultralisks. Now he has only like 3 Ultras here, versus 8 Immortals and 4 Archons. They're all with +3, by the way. Look how long they last inside the Microbial Shroud. It's kind of crazy, honestly. Because the rest of the Ultralisks, I have to kite away as far away as possible. Now imagine if I had a fungal on these Immortals. Now the moment they step outside of the Shroud, right, there is not enough energy on the for the Shroud. I crush these Ultralisks with ease. Like there's no problem for me whatsoever. But I'm still losing this game because I took way too much damage over time. I thought to myself after winning that engagement somewhat, but having less economy, maybe it's my chance to go. I still have 8 Immortals and 6 Archons in here, and since he has used all of his Infestor energy on the Shroud, maybe he's not gonna have it for the main fight. I'm trying to see if he has any Infestors coming by. I know this is pretty much my last chance to win this game. Here comes the Ultras, here comes the Shroud on top of my Immortals. Corruptus flanking, Lynx flanking. The Immortals stand no chance versus this many Zergis and Ultralisks, and despite having this match, I have to tap out, unfortunately, and Shin wins. And you could see the impact of the Microbial Shroud in these engagements. Surely it wasn't that every engagement was won because of that, but you could see that the engagements were looking bad the moment he stepped outside of the Microbial Shroud. So I think it will see a lot of play in the Zergs as soon as we learn how to properly use that, maybe with a combination of Fungal or Blinding Cloud. Don't tell that to the Zergs. And I think one last thing that we want to test is a couple of the changes, the bug fixes for the Broodlord, for example, is becoming a bit of a stronger unit right now. The Broodlings kind of like don't hover around the Broodlord, right? They are more usable right now than before. You can kind of kite them with more. It's a bug fix, but I think it's kind of a balance change, which makes the Broodlord a bit more strong, where the Broodlings are not staying in the air for whatever reason. They're just jumping directly on top of the Archons or just the unit that are going to be attacking. The second change that I also find that it should be inside of the balance change, that is a bug fix, is that in the past when you were going to siege up the Liberators, they would kind of like glide through, stop, and then siege. They would kind of like try to stop moving to stop the acceleration. Now, you can siege the Liberators kind of in the move as well. So they're moving from one side to another, siege mode, and they stop directly in the place. So basically, the Liberators are sieging faster right now than in the past, which I think is a significant balance change, especially for the late game of the Terran, where they have an army of like this, and like they're moving, then they want to siege, they just stop immediately to siege. It's gonna take far less time. It's a significant change in my opinion. I think a good change and a healthy change for the quality of life of the Terran. I think it should be in the game just like that. And the last change, obviously, is going to be the testing the life tag. We can't really test here the supply of the Ghost since it's going down from 3 to 2. But now the Colossus is going to be stronger versus the Ghost. And in the past, the Colossus didn't really want to attack the Ghost because it would tank the additional damage. Now, because the Ghost is light, it takes only 3 shots, which we can kind of assume that the Colossus will have +1 the moment that the Terrans have. I believe without the +1, let me just test it real quick. I think without the +1, the Colossus will 4-shot the Ghost. Let's just test it real quick. Where is it? Okay, let's go here. I think it will 4-shot it. 2, 3, 4. But if you add the +1 towards the Colossus, which should be always the case in that in-game interaction, the Colossus will actually 3-shot the Ghost. So it's also a significant change for the PvT late game, which I think it is getting buffed significantly with the Liberator and the Ghost supply change. But I think it's changing for the better. I'm looking forward how this one is going to go, because I think that in general this patch is very interesting, to say the least. I think Storm, I don't know why we are changing it as much as we are, because I feel like we're kind of missing the mark here, and looks like we're going through a lot of Storm changes, but in the end, at least in this iteration, I feel like Storm is just buffed at the moment. Like, it's just a stronger spell than it was before. However, we will have less storms because of the previous patch of the energy overcharge, right? It's no longer 100 energy per Templar, so you only have 1 storm per overcharge, pretty much, the additional storm. So I wonder if it will balance out by the quantity of storms, while the quality of storms is just slightly stronger. So that's just the first look of the patch for now. The patch is live, you can test it on your own. Let me know what you think about it, and yeah, let's play some StarCraft. Let's make sure that we're going in the right direction. So far, obviously, I'm enjoying it because I have a tool to work around with the Psionic Storm. The Disruptor cooldown is also slightly shorter by 4 seconds, but there's just nothing to showcase here. It's just a slight buff to the Disruptor cooldown. I think it will impact mostly maybe PvT late game, maybe PvP late game when there's more Disruptors, but I don't think buffing Disruptor is something that we should be going. I think we should be moving away from the Disruptors, and we haven't seen much Disruptor play in the pro level anyway. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a pleasant rest of the day, and let's see if this new patch will do good or harm for StarCraft 2. So far, it remains to be seen.